So following on from yesterday's report, we went into the details surrounding the Raja Jackson incident at KNOKX Pro Wrestling, in which he climbed into the ring, he tackled Syko Stu to the ground, and then in mount position just started raining down blows on him in a very brutal attack. But essentially, the Rampage Jackson has reacted to the events on social media, saying that Syko Stu was awake and stable. But now, thanks to Andrew Smith, the brother of Syko Stu, we've got another update on his condition, and he said, "Good evening. Stuart is resting since he sustained severe injuries to his head. He's currently conscious and able to talk, but will have a difficult recovery ahead. With all the media and social media attention, it's been hard to get back to everyone. Stuart Smith appreciates all the love and support. He loves wrestling, his wrestling family, and all his fans and supporters. Wrestling has been a huge part of his life, and he lives to put on a performance. He's also just a regular guy with a life and family outside the ring. His wife, Contessa, has currently set up a GoFundMe for those wishing to donate. We appreciate all the support during this difficult time. Thank you." It's, initially yesterday, it was sort of late morning. We started seeing pictures of Stu in the hospital. But just going back to the actual incident itself, it's just horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, there was reports that he'd been lost teeth in the incident, which isn't any surprise if you have seen it. But it's all a bit of a calamity how it came about. I didn't realize the calamity that sort of came before, because the next part of the news video today is AJ Marner, who is the guy with the cowboy hat. So the whole thing kicks off when Syko Stu hits Raja Jackson with a beer can because he thought Raja was a wrestler, but Raja at that point in time was invited to the show by AJ Marner, but wasn't a part of the show.
And he was streaming the whole thing live on Kick. So pretty much everything that happened in and around Raja Jackson was captured on this stream over the course of the night. But yeah, it starts with that can to the face.
And then we go backstage, and that shoot incident, if you want, because he wasn't supposed to be involved, then turn it into a bit of a work for the show. It's agreed that Raja Jackson will get involved in the match that Syko Stu is involved in. But then with AJ Marner backstage, AJ, it's fully in kayfabe, this bit, it said, "Make sure you give Stu a receipt," and Jackson replies that he will be happy as long as he gets his lick back. So at that point, we're expecting Raja Jackson to get involved in the match, do stuff with Syko Stu,
dump him over and then stand tall.
Not do what he actually did, though. AJ Marner has released the following statement on his Facebook, just sort of clarifying his involvement in that entire situation, because it feels like, if you're looking at what happened in the ring, the fire was maybe stoked by AJ, but no, it was fully in kayfabe, and this is what he tries to get across here. And he says, "I want to take a moment to address the incident at KNOKX Pro. First and foremost, my thoughts are with Syko Stu and his family. No one ever wants to see a fellow performer get seriously hurt. There have been a lot of speculation online about my role that night. The truth is, I was in character and speaking in the language of wrestling. Everything I said was part of the show, and I never intended or encouraged real harm. This was a situation that unfortunately got out of hand due to miscommunication behind the scenes. Wrestling is built on trust, respect, and protecting each other in the ring. That's what I stand for, and anyone who has worked with me knows that. I respect the business, and respect the fans, and I respect the performers who step between those ropes. I hope we can focus on Stu's recovery and making sure something like this never happens again." That comes directly from AJ. So it just looks like, it's all going to, initially the beer can is obviously not part of the script, but then we work it into a bit of an angle for the show. Raja, go in and do that sort of stuff. If you want to lay it in a little bit, you can, because this is wrestling. Some people like to work a bit hard, a bit snug, but he's just taking things way too far.
Well, this is the thing, and AJ Marner touches on it here. Wrestling is very much built on trust between performers. Like, you get in that ring, you need to be able to trust that you are going to be able to do your most to look after your opponent, and you need to be able to trust in kind that your opponent is going to do everything they can to look after you. So you don't ever really want to be in one of these situations, or nor would it even be, I'd imagine, thought of that this could have been something that would have transpired after the fact. But it's very like, when you look back to it as well, like, there are other factors in and around it. We touched on it yesterday in the news, but there were several moments on Raja's stream where Rampage Jackson himself was ringing him up and sort of chastising him for being a baby oil show with men in tights, things like that, just sort of really stoking the flames a bit. His chat were obviously telling him to go and knock that guy out, do all this. So he's getting more and more wound up over the course of the night. But for it to be as horrific as it was, it's just beyond words, really.
Yeah, you can't legislate for it, because you imagine just an agreement was made backstage, here's what's going to go down, and he's just hopped in that ring and he's done what he wanted. He's taken liberties with a fellow, well, no, I'm not going to say fellow performer, but an actual wrestler.
An actual wrestler, yeah. But looking over to the KNOKX Pro side of things now, management for Rikishi and Rino Anawai's KNOKX Pro Wrestling Academy have allegedly asked wrestlers not to cooperate with police over the investigation into the incident without speaking to the promotion themselves first. So on the Scaling Up podcast, a former wrestler named Ian shared screenshots from Facebook Messenger about the Raja Jackson situation, showing messages from KNOKX Pro talent KT King, real name Kevin Thomas, saying, if law enforcement or an attorney for the suspect contacts you in any capacity, let someone here know right away for guidance on how to address them. And then a message from Miguel in the KNOKX Pro group chat on Messenger also tells talent, no one needs to be discussing anything. I'll shut this feed down, please. Several wrestlers simply then responded with, yes, sir. And Rino Anawai also claimed elsewhere in the group that Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, and others were all supporting them. Now, obviously, it's one of those things where they're going to want to be able to make sure that any conversations that are happening with the other side are all coming through the school itself. I'm not really well versed in American law, but it seemed obvious that this might be the case, that, you know, people are going to start approaching those who were there, those who were working the show in regards to the ongoing investigation. LAPD have obviously opened up a case, but ultimately it is kind of, you know, if somebody's coming to you and you want to cooperate, then I guess, you know, it's one of those things where how you feel on the situation personally, you might feel that you want to cooperate with that side. You might feel that the KNOKX Pro were in the wrong. There's going to be people on all sides that sort of see it slightly differently. Certainly they can't have been anticipating what happened, otherwise it would never have happened. The school itself is the school that, I mean, it gave it's where Rusev, I believe, got his first big break in the American independent scene. It's been a very well regarded school and a very well regarded promotion running out of that school for quite some time. So you've got to, I understand why they would want to be on top of it, but at the same time, it feels a bit weird to be like, don't talk to anybody. Yeah,
surely if people are approached by police, they should be within their rights to give their side of the story.
Well, it says that, well, that's it. It's sort of law enforcement or an attorney. And that's kind of the thing is, I think at that point, it's all down to the person, right? It's got to be all down to the person. But sort of the biggest takeaway here so far from the situation for KNOKX Pro, this one comes from PW Insider. They just said California's KNOKX Pro have removed their WWE ID affiliation from their social media branding and headers as of this afternoon, which would have been yesterday afternoon. It would appear WWE severed ties with the promotion and academy completely. They just in the fallout of the incident, but they were one of the first names announced for the ID scheme. And, you know, given their track record in the past, it wasn't very surprising when they were listed as, you know, a part of the ID scheme. But, you know, WWE are always going to be looking after, you know, their IP in that regard. They're not going to want to be associated with anything like this.
It's not worth the hassle, is it, on their part? But yeah, the ID program had been rolled out last autumn. They've been affiliated with KNOKX Pro since October 2024. As of this writing, PW Insider are the ones who broke this story and tried to get a comment from the WWE, and they have not responded as of us sat here right now. So it just looks like they've severed ties, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, I would do wonder if this is going to have a knock-on effect for the wider ID program, whether there's going to be more stringent controls put in place on promotions. You know, it's an incident that should never have happened. It's definitely, you know, probably the one of the most horrifying things that's happened in the ring since we've been in this job.
Oh yeah,
it's just horrendous. So sending all our best still to Syko Stu, and any more news coming out of this situation, we will keep you updated. We'll be back later on with any more news should it break. But in the meantime, keep it here with us, and we'll see you soon.